Hello, my name is Edward Molina, and I will be talking about credit card debt that every other person deals with. So, I started to learn more about credit card debt when unfortunately it happened to me about 2 years ago, and that's when I started to learn a couple of tips and tricks to help me get out of it. So obviously having credit card debt is a very stressful situation depending on the person. And hopefully, from this speech, if you ever find yourself in this type of situation, you'll be able to take these tips and traits that I've learned and help yourself get out of it. So, credit card debt is no joke. It can be very hard for some people to be able to get out of it when it starts. Credit card debt usually starts when someone applies for their first card, and this can happen at any time, anywhere, especially if that person runs up the credit card to its limit and doesn't keep an eye on the balance to pay it back. The debt can last as long as years, it just depends on the person's situation. Low hours at work, not keeping up with the monthly payments, letting the balance increase. This can happen to anyone who has, I would say, a small bit of experience with credit cards. This can happen if the person runs the limit and then they get a monthly statement back and then they see how much they have to pay back every month, and that's when it usually starts to happen because they can't make that monthly payment. For example, according to the article, Why Do People Have Credit Card Debt and How to Avoid It, it says, not paying attention to credit card interest rates, which can lead to bigger payments. The creditor takes out a monthly late charge, which incurs interest every month if you don't pay that amount. Also in the article, Why Do People Have Credit Card Debt and How to Avoid It, states only making your minimum credit card payments and spending more than you earn are two of the most common causes of credit card debt. Now, I will explain how this can impact somebody's life. Like I stated before, this can affect anyone, and it can happen at any time, anywhere. But they usually have to pay back large amounts every month that they can't keep up with, and then your credit score can start tanking, and then which makes it hard to pay back. When it happened to me, it definitely had an emotional impact, but this can make others have financial problems and so forth. But I have not witnessed anyone with any physical problems. It will also consume a lot of your time off of work. When I started to pay it all off, I wanted to work as much as possible so I can do it as quickly as possible, which meant less time hanging out with friends and so forth. The worst thing for me that would definitely be is stressing out every time I opened up the creditor's application and seeing the balance barely budge when I've been working so hard to pay it off. Now, here are some suggestions that you can start to solve the problem. For example, Sean Powles and Tiffany Curtis share on its websites, NerdWallet, that it's best to pay more than the minimum because banks make money off the interest they charge each billing period. So the longer it takes you to pay, the more money they make. Henceforth, you are paying more than needed due to the interest. Also, Sean Powles and Tiffany Curtis, who wrote on the article NerdWallet, believe that if you can reach out to your creditors and explain your situation, and then the credit card issuer may be willing to negotiate payment terms or offer a hardship program, especially if you are a longtime customer with a good track record of payments. For me, I would definitely call your creditor to see if there are any payment plans that you can enroll in. And then when I started planning out how long and how much I had to pay back to get out of the debt so I can, put my work schedule into the plan so I can make that money at every paycheck. And I feel like those two simple tips and tricks helps out a lot of people in the beginning. And then the reason why this is important to me is because I was in this situation not too long ago, and I did these tips and tricks to get out of it. And with that, I would like to thank you for taking your time out of the day to listen to my speech.